Every time I hear British accent, I have mild PTSD from my days in Manchester. You guys pronounce water like it's three separate words.
Meanwhile, Abdulaziz came here for medicine and accidentally became Georgia's BBC for foreign students. Welcome, Abdulaziz, to Modern 9 to 5, and we would like to hear your story.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. I've seen a lot of stuff on TikTok, on social media about you guys. So, yeah.
Thanks for coming, mate. Thanks. And we saw a lot of your videos also.
Yeah.
So you're not just a student, you're a content creator. Nowadays, everyone is, I guess. But very few do it in the right way. So we've been very impressed, and we're happy to have you here. So maybe let's start just casually talking about your life's journey. We know that you were born in the UK, but we are very curious about why did you decide to study specifically here in Georgia, the medicine. For one, we know it's cheap, but what about the quality? What about the other options? Just, your decision making, walk us through it, and maybe a few words about the shitty weather in the UK, for sure.
So I think a lot of students would be in agreement with me when I say this, that obviously you touched on it. It is the cheapest country. And when we're applying to these sort of places for medicine, that is something that we take into account because, number one, you do have to fund it yourself. We don't get loans from the UK for university abroad like we would if we were studying in the UK.
Oh, so, and it's still cheaper for you to do even without these loans from the UK?
So I worked my expenses out. In the UK, it costs exactly £9,250
a year.
For the tuition. I think it's going to be increased to around 12,500. But when I was studying, that's how much it would have been. Normally, you take a loan out and you pay it back over the course of 40 years. So you're stuck. It'll come out of your paycheck every month, a negligible amount that you won't even notice. So that's one of the main differences. If you're coming abroad, then you're going to be funding it yourself. I think all the expenses for the first year that I was here, which is normally the most expensive year because you're getting set up, you're getting used to it, it came to around £11,000. So that was tuition fees, that was living costs, so rent and groceries and anything else like recreational activities and stuff like that. So
it was around the same amount of just tuition fee compared
pretty much. So that's why for us, Georgia is one of the most desirable places to come. And in terms of the actual academic side and learning about the human body, at the end of the day, there's only one human body. You can't really you can't make up new stuff in different countries. It's not like in Georgia you're learning about the Georgian body, and in the UK you're learning about the UK body.
Don't tell that to Americans because they're still kind of confused about the gender stuff. And they feel like
so true.
There are some different genders there.
You were saying that it's good to come here, even medical-wise, and stuff like that. But before we started, you mentioned that you didn't even know geographically where was it. I mean, how did your parents react that I need to go to Georgia, and what was their reaction?
That's the thing. I think this is a bit of a unique situation for me. It wasn't actually my idea to come to Georgia or go abroad in the first place. I'm not saying I was forced here, but essentially the story was I applied in the UK like a lot of other students. I had an offer from Leicester University. I needed 3 A's. August 14th came, which is results day. I opened the envelope. I got AAB.
Was it like the TV shows or the movies where you get the envelope by the post or something, and then you just need to open it? And
it's pretty much like that, except we did it in person.
We don't have post here, so that's why we're wondering.
When you're so excited that, the news is in the envelope.
It has to be from the private house. Yeah, it's cool.
Really cool.
We don't get those here.
So then you can do that, but the quicker way is to go in and collect them. So I went there. It was 9 a.m. I opened it. I had the actual page on my phone as well, the UCAS page, and I got AAB. I didn't get in. They took my offer away from me. They offered me some alternative course instead, which I didn't want to do. And in that moment, you feel something it deep inside you, and it just felt like my heart was sinking into my body. That's what it felt like. My dad was next to me. I didn't know how to explain normally. Now I'm speaking, I'm happy. I had no words in that situation. I didn't even know what to do. And after about 3 or 4 days of deep depression, my dad came back randomly. He was speaking to a few people. He came back from outside somewhere, and he just comes to me and he goes, do you mind if we send you abroad? That was the first I've ever heard of thinking of going abroad. And I was like, what do you mean? he said, "Do you mind? Like, there's a lot of
There's
people.
this country
There's a lot of people.
somewhere."
There's a lot of people that go to like Eastern Europe. We might be thinking like Latvia, Romania, Bulgaria. So Georgia wasn't even like an initial option.
Oh, okay.
And he said to me, he goes, "Do you mind it?" And I was like, "No." I go, "I want to still do medicine," because I did a few interviews for other courses, and at the end of the interview, they turned around to me and they said, "Oh, we can tell that you've obviously prepared for a medicine interview, but we'd still love to have you on this course." And at the end of that meeting, I still felt like something was missing. I felt like, yeah, but I won't be happy. Like, it's a 4-year course. I'm not going to be happy doing it. So then everything came. We started discussing options. And Georgia was the most desirable one because of the points I mentioned. Like, it's the cheapest. And at the end of the day, we thought, if you're going anywhere in Europe, why does it matter? If you're going somewhere that's 3 hours away, if you're going 5 hours away, you still have to go to the airport. You have to get a flight. Let's just make it easy. I wanted to make it easy on my parents as well. You know, my dad, he works really hard.
Yeah.
I think he had plans of retirement. And because of me, he had to
got
delay
it.
that.
Yeah.
So then he's a very hard worker. And he said to me, he goes, "You have to take it seriously. You can't just say it's too hard after a couple of semesters." So that's why I try and keep that in mind every day. You know, when I'm doing this work, when I'm doing everything that I do, I try and do it for my dad.
The way you talk about your dad and about the medicine in general, like, it really seems like something you always wanted to do it. Like, was that the only option to the table, that, you know, my son has to be a doctor?
I never lie when I say this to people, and I'm not going to lie now. When I was in college, I didn't want to do medicine. I wanted to do chemical engineering, but my family was there to support me, and they made me realize that you have the ability to do medicine. And they weren't just saying it because of the grades. They were saying it because they knew me better than I did in that situation. I felt like, looking back on it now, I didn't have a lot of confidence. I didn't have confidence in myself. I didn't have confidence in my abilities. So that's why I kind of was like avoiding it. I was avoiding all of the extra work that you have to put into do a medicine degree, because even before you apply for the degree, you do an exam that's called the UCAT exam, and it's not even related to medicine. There's no question. There's one bit about ethics, but other than that, it's all just like pattern recognition. It's to do with like verbal reasoning. So you read text and you try
like
and
general
deduce
intelligence.
So
kind of
that's what it
testing,
was,
right?
and it's the reason why they have that exam is to whittle down how many people are actually applying for medicine, because it's very competitive. So that was something that was putting me off. I didn't want to put in that effort, and I was one of those people. I didn't want to take the hard way. I didn't want to do it. But then it kind of became a thing. Like, I did that exam. I put in the effort in university, in college. I was getting A's in my mocks. I was doing really good in my exams. I put in so much effort that it became something I wanted to do. Like, I was so fixated on medicine.
Yeah.
So then when I didn't get it, it just meant that I wanted to do it all along. I just didn't have the confidence in myself. And I think like, I need to say, like, shout out to my family for that, because they didn't push me to do it, but they pushed me through it, because I don't think I would be in this situation if it wasn't for them.
Sounds like a lot of Georgian families, to be honest. I mean,
Exactly,
in terms of like
when the adults don't know what they actually want, and then their family members are trying to push through.
And it's like, as Scott Galloway says, like, whatever you do for the right amount of time, then it becomes your passion. You know, you might not be very passionate at the very beginning, but if you put enough effort,
sounds like you just didn't want it to fail. And since you put a lot of effort, okay, I mean, I put already a lot of effort, so let's just go with it.
So that was the thing. Like, it becomes rooted in you that you don't want to do something because you might fail. So I would say, if anyone is thinking about doing it, that's why I started the page as well. So it's inspiration for people that are thinking about it. Because when I came,
are your listeners mostly internationals?
I think when I last looked at the split, it was like most of them are UK students, probably around like 50 to 60%, and then everybody else will
curious,
be,
like, well, what's going on here?
or not even UK students, just people from the UK. Mostly people from 15 years old to around like 30 years old.
Oh, the ones that are considering actually.
But then there's a lot of parents as well. Like, I speak to a lot of parents. Maybe like to the same level I speak to students. It's pretty similar. So there's a lot of people that do contact me, and because the information's there, they do think about Georgia.
Yeah. One thing that I caught in your, well, I don't want to say you guys have it easy, but, you know, for example, we Georgians, we're such a small country that we don't have that as such a huge community everywhere we go.
Yeah.
Like those people now have the luxury to talk to you before they actually come here.
Yeah.
They will know everything because you're very, I don't know, like you're basically creating content about what to expect here.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they come way better prepared than I went first time in the UK. So that's something good that you have.
Yeah, I think like you're saying, with a lot of people in the UK, I think there are more and more Georgians that are going to the UK, because even now one of my cousins is a doctor, and he said to me, like, the person that he's training, that's working underneath him, he's Georgian. And I think now, I don't know, like, the timeline and stuff about stuff that was like happening in 2008 with Georgia and like independence and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think the way that Georgia is going, it's a pretty successful country, because if you think about it, it's only been like 15 to 17 years that they've been doing their own stuff, and already they made so many improvements. The fact that so many people are choosing this country to do medicine when there's alternatives like Bulgaria, Latvia, Romania that are established, I think it's a very good thing. Like,
you hearing this?
We need to cut it. I mean, that is the viral part. We need to cut it out for sure. Yeah.
No, I'm genuinely being surprised every time, any expat talks like this about our country, because living here, you don't really see this thing. You don't really see these small improvements, because maybe we're not students anymore.
Yes.
Like back then, we didn't have as many options. We didn't have the country. I mean, now we're complaining about a lot of things.
Yeah,
and it's just nice to hear that internationals find that this country has improved from, I don't know, 2010s until what we have right now. But I mean, you should just listen people. I'm sure, like, once we're gonna post this, like the way you were describing Georgia, somebody will come out, most likely Georgian, and say, "What are you talking about?" So,
yeah, like,
it's a shitty place.
I feel like it's a very reactionary thing, because you yourself, you said you used to live in the UK, and you can say for yourself what your experience is, because the same reason why you came back here, or whatever you experienced there, is the reason why we aren't in the UK anymore. For example, like,
very good point.
For medicine, it's so competitive. It's really hard for us to get places in there. So
and it's not like you get all the benefits, like, it's not like you are fighting for this super fancy, like, well set up life. Like, that was my understanding. Like, I don't mind to grind, honestly. Like, the mindset that I went to UK was to, like, I wasn't ashamed to work. I was gonna put the hours, effort, whatever it took. But like, I got this cool job later after the graduation in Revolut, by the way, operations manager, strategic operations manager. I mean, the pay was good, but the quality of life, not that much. Like, the money is not enough there. And if you put into equation stuff like NHS, food, the weather, then it doesn't really work out. Like, you get better life here with the less money. Like, that was my understanding, like, very simplistic idea of why I came back.
Yeah, I think it's the same for a lot of people, not just in the medicine background, but in terms of, like, a lot of jobs. You see, like, the cost of living in the UK, and then you see the minimum wage, and you see the conditions
the taxes,
that some people...
Jesus
like,
Christ.
It doesn't make sense for... it doesn't make sense for people that are wanting a long-term plan, because honestly, I think our generation can be the first ones to sort of like pioneer this thinking. And it's the fact that they're realizing the UK is not the same haven it was 15 years ago, or the one that people still have in their mind. And maybe it's the same way that Georgians think there's a lot of issues in this country, the same way we thought there's a lot of issues in the UK. But one thing is, we are blind to it, because we grew up in that. Like, we see, if you see the changes gradually, then you don't really take notice of it. You just sort of look back one day and realize, hang on, the country's kind of gone to crap now.
We've come so far.
Like, in the same way that when we see how things are done in Georgia, we think, wow, that's like a really good improvement. Some of the systems here are really good. I'll give you an example. Like, the bus system here, it operates on an honesty system. The doors open from the front, middle, and back. You get on, and you're expected to just scan your card. In the UK, it takes stuff like that takes so long, because you have to get on from the front of the bus. The bus driver has to check your card, or like your whatever you have to scan, and stuff like that is what stands out, because it's something that we don't experience. We don't grow up with it, so it's not normal for us. That's just one very, like, basic example. But also the culture here as well. Like, I've had good experiences with a lot of Georgians, especially in the markets and stuff. After I learned a little bit of Georgian, I can speak to them, and they really appreciate
you win
it.
a lot of hearts, exactly.
Yeah, they really appreciate it, because they know that even if they know minimal English, you don't have to, but you want to make an effort. You're in somebody else's country. You want to sort of like blend in. You don't want to take over the country. I'm not saying that, but you want to like you want to join into that environment,
and it's very respectful as well. You're learning the language that you're probably not going to use outside this country anywhere else. So it's a big,
It's so good that you're saying probably.
Yeah, I mean there's
not gonna use.
There's a 1% chance that you might meet a Georgian somewhere else.
You need to avoid them when you meet them outside our country. You avoid them. So why?
Yeah. I feel this is a funny story from last time I was in the UK, and this was in Bradford, like where I live, and I swear I was walking down the street, and I heard somebody playing like Georgian news. And I knew it was Georgian because I could understand some bits of it, and I was just like, where? I was like, who's playing that? And I just looked like across the street, and there's like a Georgian auntie, and she's like just fully watching it. Like I was so surprised. I was like, well, in Bradford of all places, like where I live, literally like five minutes away from where I live. I'm like, there's people here. So I think it's good that a lot of Georgian people are going out there. I think with a lot of the direct flights as well, they incorporated those.
It wasn't back in my days. Not from Manchester where I lived. Is it from London nowadays?
Yeah, they're doing direct flights to London, so it's like 5 hours, which is really good. It's really convenient for people.
Do you usually fly to London and then train?
No, for me it's not worth it because I live like 4 hours away from the airports, so I'll still do an indirect flight from Manchester. I'll go to Turkey and then come here.
Oh yeah, that's what I used to do always, and I don't like it very much. Like you're losing one full day.
Yeah, it's like 16 hours of traveling, which honestly is a lot. So
I hate it a lot, man, because I still want it to be close to my country, and even like small difference. Like if you live in Western Europe, it makes it's way easier to fly. You need to have direct flights.
Yeah, I think
that's the thing.
I think that a lot of my lecturers as well, like between the holidays, even if it's only for 2 weeks, they go to like really nice countries. They go to like France, Italy, and they say like it's easier to get there. Like it's not too difficult to get there from Georgia. So.
Like I told you, like before the Iraq, when we were talking about, it's not easy for Georgians to go to UK nowadays. And I was like on the UK policies, I'm very surprised. Like I'm not sure what the procedure is nowadays. Like my friend who has a very healthy financial situation. Has never been, involved in any sort of crime. He's a businessman. He worked his whole life. Like he's very clear on the paper, and they rejected his tourist visa for no fucking reason. And then I see people just going to UK and stabbing.
I understand what you mean.
Committing
like
all this crimes.
A lot of the stuff that you see. Well, I think a lot of it is negative stuff because the media, you're always going to see more negative stuff. Yeah. It's just a fact. Like positive stuff about something, it never does well. Like let's be honest, who really cares about that? Yeah. I think in terms of the actual causes of that sort of stuff, I think people do have a point. They do let a lot of people in that are dangerous. Like I think it can be mainly due to the government. There's not a lot of stability in the country, in the UK right now. If you look at how other countries are running their sort of stuff, then they have completely different policies, and that's what people complain about. That's why people are not really giving the UK the same respect that it used to have. And I do agree with that. I think it can be whittled down to the government. Like
yeah, probably. I mean, it's going down the hill, and it's been going on for a while. Probably after Brexit.
Yeah, I think that caused a lot of issues, to be honest. I'm not really that up to date with a lot of the politics. That's one of the things I like about being in Georgia. Like, you come here, I can forget about everything that's happening in the UK.
You can't forget about your country. Yeah, I was feeling like that when I was living there. Yeah, but like now that I'm here,
you don't need to worry about every day. People are there's just like fear mongering going around. There's like you need to hear about this. Here, it's just like relax, just go to uni, do your own stuff, chill with your friends. I feel like it's pretty chilled out. So it is a good opportunity to come here.
And you mentioned. You don't get really bothered about Georgian laziness and Georgian laid back type of lifestyle.
Yeah, I feel like that's me personally, but I feel like there's a lot of people that can relate because I hate mornings. Like I can't wake up early. Anytime before 10 a.m. I'm gonna have like an afternoon slump. If I wake up at 8 a.m. or I have to be awake for 8 a.m., then I will always feel tired between 2 to 5 in the afternoon. I'll have that like crash. So then in Georgia, when places are opening at like 11, 12 o'clock, or the country or the city doesn't really get going until that time, it's really good for me because I know that I won't miss anything. I can wake up a bit later.
They don't open that late. It's just people don't go there.
People don't go there. Like in the UK, you feel
no
like
one cares.
Yeah, you feel like you're missing out in the UK. That's probably a better way to say it. Like people, they want to do everything as soon as possible.
That's what we call rat race, right?
Yeah,
like you get caught up in that.
Yeah, you don't. I really hate that sort of mentality. So then being able to do stuff at a relaxed pace over here, nobody's putting pressure on you. I feel like that's like so chilled out. And especially for me, like I function a lot better in the evenings, like 8 to 12 p.m. in the 12 till 12 a.m. in the evening.
It's good that you chose the medicine.
Yeah,
because
like
you're not gonna have regular hours.
Yeah,
friend.
that's another thing. So it's all just training in it, like staying up, trying to study, that sort of stuff. So that's why I do really like this country in terms of the way that the layout is, and you know, it's something unique to Georgia. I think if people are gonna go to other European countries, you don't really get that. I have traveled to quite a few. I've been on holiday to like Italy, I've been to Switzerland, I've been to Spain, I've been to France, and honestly, you get a really unique feeling. Even my family, I told my family, I've been begging them to come, and they came last summer, and they really enjoyed it here. I showed them around everywhere, and they agreed with a lot of the stuff that I was saying to them about it. And they also found like a lot of stuff that they enjoy in this country. In Georgia, you have like you have a mix of the cultures of the nearby countries. So you have a lot of Armenian culture, you have Azerbaijani culture, Turkish culture, and then obviously like, there's stuff from Soviet times as well in terms of like the buildings and stuff. So when you put all of that together, you get a really, really unique country
experience,
and you get a country that is Georgia. And I honestly, I couldn't imagine where I would be if I didn't come here.
That's a very nice summary.
Yeah. I guess we can switch to your videos.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't know, Abdulaziz is actually quite famous locally on local market. And how did it start? Can you tell us about that?
So initially, I didn't even make videos with the idea of people are going to see them. It came from my mum just saying, "Oh, what do you do there on a day-to-day basis? Yeah. Like you don't." Some of the
days you were just sending videos to your mom.
Yeah, some of the days, she said specifically, some of the days you don't even call us. Like we know you're busy with uni, but like extended family want to see what you're doing there as well. Because we told them you went to Georgia, and these guys are like, Georgia, America, and we have to explain like where it is and stuff like that. So that's what it came. I started making the videos. My sister bought me a GoPro for my birthday. Shout out to my sister.
Oh, nice.
And then I was just like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna just like make some short vlogs. Like if you go back to the first video I made, it was like a 7-minute video, and I was basically traveling from the UK. And I said so many random things in there. It didn't even make sense, but quite a lot of people saw it. I think it got like 8,000 views for that sort of video, which I don't think it deserves 8,000 views. I'm not going to lie. I post some videos now that don't even get 2,000 views.
We're not the perfect judges of what sells, to be honest. Like the video that I made, the biggest views that it got, you know, that one, the one that you saw, it's basically just me saying Georgians are lazy. And for some reason, like everybody loves this video.
Yeah, controversy is key. I think it's something that makes the videos blow up when people start talking about it. So these guys probably saw my video like, who's this guy? What's he on about? So then that was what I started making it for. And then all of a sudden, like people just started commenting. I don't know who they were at that time. And they just started saying, asking really common questions. For us, it's common because we live here and we know it. But for them, it's like a completely different thing. So then I started making videos where I'm answering these questions. I started showing what stuff is like. So like cost of living.
I saw some of your videos.
That's a video that would do really well. Or like traveling from the UK, making a refined video. So that sort of stuff is what people wanted to see. And then it sort of just like grew from there. People started asking me for advice. People started asking me how to apply. And then, it felt good to help people. I
think you're bringing something new to Georgian market, to be honest. Like when I was living in Manchester, I saw a lot of content creators actually doing that kind of stuff locally.
Yeah.
You know, comparing prices between different type of stores, like Sainsbury compared to Aldi, like all this. And then they were like, product per product, they were making these comparisons, and it actually gives you a lot of insights, like where to shop and what to do. I don't think anybody's doing that in Georgia right now. like some people.
Well, we do have, but whoever does that, they all have really good views, and everyone loves them. Yeah, I mean, some people who are from USA or from any other country, does not matter, from the Europe or from the Asia, regardless. We all love watching that type of
people
videos,
want to know that sort of information. So then if you put it out there, it's
it's very useful information, right?
Yeah, even for me, when I was watching and I saw like so many good places that I didn't even knew existed. Seriously.
Yeah, it's funny. So mostly internationals do that kind of stuff, and most like expats from post-Soviet countries, they know way better cafes and restaurants than we do.
Yeah.
So those are like the specific niches that they usually take. But what excites me about your content is that you're doing it very quickly, efficiently, and very eloquently. Like that's something where you stand out, I would say. It's the hooks are always strong, and you just deliver the big message in a small way, and then it's really nice.
I try to make that. Well, it's something that I learned as well. Like people have very short attention span nowadays. So you have to get as much information in as little as time as possible.
As creatively as you can.
Yeah, without losing any sort of guidance through the video. So that's where the ideas sort of come from. And I think a lot of the ideas actually come from people that are commenting, because a lot of the stuff that I want to do, I don't really have an idea of how to do it until I see the interest is there.
Yeah.
And once I see the interest is there, it becomes a lot easier for me to plan it out, because I know people want to see this, and it sort of pushes me to make my own deadlines, which is what I do.
It motivates you, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I try and keep my own deadlines for certain projects. Or if I know it's a certain time of the year where people are searching about certain things. So for example, if students are coming in the summer, then I know people are going to be looking for apartments. So I try and give apartment tips and what to look for in certain situations. So that's the sort of stuff that I've kind of learned throughout this experience. And I would say Tbilisi does need more students to create content. I think there is quite a few people alongside me. A lot of them have a lot more followers than me as well. And they do post a lot of content.
Send them over.
Yeah,
we want to hear their thoughts.
Yeah, it's good to get a good idea of the background. And one thing that I really wanted to keep in mind when I was doing the page is to show the reality of it, to show the reality of studying abroad, because I think a lot of it is misconstrued and people put a lot of aesthetic stuff over there. And in reality, that's about 3% of the time when you're abroad. And I really didn't like that when I was looking at the content initially. And I swore to myself, I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to make that sort of video.
You shouldn't oversell.
Yeah,
like, I agree.
Because I don't want to lie to people. I feel like it is lying to people. You should show what the reality is. In the second video I made, I went to the shops and I had a haircut. And that was pretty much it. Like, that's a day in the life of an international student. It's nothing like, it's nothing crazy. Like, you're not going to go to all these scenic places. You're not going to go to Kajori every single day. You're not going to go to like Tbilisi Sea and see all these sort of things.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a very important thing. When I make content, I try to keep it as legit as possible. Because I do know a lot of people out there that just show the aesthetic side of it.
Okay.
I remember reviewing a lot of British students doing that kind of thing, what you described right now,
Yeah.
I was under the impression that life is all sunshines and rainbows there, because they used to filter it down to their specific moments.
Yeah.
And very few content creators actually show the reality of it, which is something of a value.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I'm going to expose myself. I don't know. Am I exposing myself? I'm going to be honest. Some of the day in the life videos that I make, they didn't even happen on the same day. Like, they're just things that I did on separate days, but I needed enough content to make a video, because realistically, if I do one of them things in a day, who really cares? It just makes me look lazy. So honestly, anything you put online is what the person wants you to see. Like,
for sure.
I think a lot of the videos that are out there, a lot of them are fake. You will never see a fully legit 100% video that is, everything is truthful. There's going to be some sort of like blending in or something.
Polishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's what I wanted to stick to about the reality stuff. Before we started this, we were discussing some of the things, and you mentioned that how was your life when you were 18, okay, you are not from here, and you came to this country. How was your life in the beginning? How it when starting? Yeah.
Man, that was a stressful time. I'm getting PTSD thinking about that. No, I'm joking. It wasn't too bad. Now that I think about it, when I first came, my situation was quite similar to a lot of other people. I was 18 years old. I was fresh out of college. I was with my parents, which, if anything, made it a bit more stressful because my parents don't really travel to foreign countries on their own. So I was 18 years old. I was in charge of my parents. I'd never flown on my own as well. I normally fly.
You were the parent.
Yeah, so they basically, my dad made it a thing. Like, as soon as we get there, you're going to be in charge of everything. You're going to do all of the important things because you're going to be living here. After 5 days, they were going to go back. So I needed to have a grip on the situation. But yeah, the first thing that happened, we had an airport pickup that was organized by the agency that I went with. And the driver didn't speak any English, which obviously is not his fault where we came to a foreign country. But as first impressions go, we were trying to communicate to him. And he just didn't speak any English, so we couldn't speak to him at all. And also when you're going like from the airport, when you're going alongside the sea, you see these twisty roads and you see like shops that have signs on them and they're not even in English. When we first came, they were just in squiggles, and I'm like, I don't even know what this says. It turns out it just says market.
Must have been scary.
Yeah, it turns out it just says markety or something like that on the side of the road. But we were just thinking in our head like, where have we come? And I think a lot of people do get that feeling, and you kind of think to yourself, like, why am I in Georgia? But yeah, that was what it was like in the first night. The first night that I came to Georgia. And it got better from there. I think in the daytime, the country and the city, Tbilisi, looks completely different. Yeah. It's a really beautiful city. You see so many different monuments around, and for us to see it at nighttime as like the first impression, it did put something in our head. But then we kind of cleared that out quickly once we started seeing the rest of the city and stuff like that. So that's something that I would say keep in mind for future students if you're coming.
First impression is not great. Right?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I could have imagined like going to a different. I was way older than the first time moved somewhere else to live, actually, and even for me, like even though I could understand anything that was written there, the culture shock is always there.
Yeah,
I'd say you went on the right time. Like it's a good time to lose your international virginity, kind of thing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now I don't think you're gonna ever have that kind of shock ever. So it's a pretty good experience.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I say to people. Like, they might think that if you study in the UK, you're at an advantage because you're getting a UK degree. But I think of it in other ways. Like, if you have gone abroad, for me, like personally, I will have spent a quarter of my life in Georgia. That's quite a big period. Like, I'll spend 6 years here out of the 24 that I've been alive. So I say to people, if you're looking for jobs...
And that's like, consider that's most of your adult life.
Yeah, like most of my independent life I've been
so
abroad.
You grew up as a person here, basically.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's another thing. You mature a lot quicker abroad when you're left to fend for yourself. Like, you're on survival mode, you have to sort things out. And I say to people, when you're abroad, it kind of opens you up to jobs and like different horizons. If you've already studied abroad, then why would applying for a job in another country make you feel worried? Because I feel like that's something that people kind of have anxiety about. If you've been in the UK for 5 years, let's say you're 23, and all of a sudden you need to apply for jobs, and you find jobs that are in other countries, it's a big step for you because you're like, I've studied here, I did university here, I need to move away from my family. And for somebody that studied abroad, it's completely different because you're thinking, I've already been abroad for 6 years. What difference is it if I work abroad and I just see my family regularly, like what I've been doing? You become used to it. So I think there's advantages of coming abroad at a young age like that. And it's something that people should consider, because I want people to think of studying abroad as a priority, as a first option. Because up until now, I think people think it's like a second option or it's like a last resort, when I really don't understand that.
That happens in the countries such as, mostly in the English-speaking countries, I would say, because you guys still have, the educational system, everything is in English, and obviously if you're an American, like they barely consider leaving their country because they have everything inside. Yeah. So it's more of a European thing, kind of traveling abroad, but and of course, like obviously Middle East and Asian. But I completely agree. Like the first time you want to challenge yourself has to be in different culture and in different environment where you're nobody knows your name.
Yeah.
and like you have to prove yourself. It's not like you're somebody's son. Like nobody even.
You're your own person. You're responsible for yourself basically, and everything around you. So
you're growing up. You're bringing up yourself basically.
Yeah.
No, that's a very good point actually. And I'm happy that your journey turns out very successful, and it's still an ongoing journey. How long do you have left here?
So I'm currently in my 4th year, so I still have another 2 years.
Solid 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. What after that? Do you plan on becoming a doctor or continue like entrepreneur career?
I see him as a doctor who is a consultant mostly. Who is a doctor and also kind of you gotta be related to education also because you have a talent for that.
I feel like there's a lot of people that do that in the UK currently. I can definitely imagine myself doing that. It just depends on like what life holds for me. I think after this, I'm definitely gonna sort of take a break because I think I'll have done it for like 4 years. I think I'll want to have a break, maybe focus on my personal life, see what I've got going on after that. And in terms of my job, I do want to go back to the UK, even like however much crap I've been saying about like the standard in the UK.
Just be careful,
right?
because if you're gonna find someone who's Georgian as a wife, then you're gonna stuck here. So,
basically stuck here. But.
So just be careful about that for sure.
Yeah.
If you plan on leaving, because if you want to stay, then okay.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think I might give that a miss. That might not be for me. But I think in terms of like what the future holds after this, I do want to go to the UK. At least like as a backup, whatever I've got after that, I'll always have that.
I mean, for sure, like you need to go back to your home and to your parents, and that's the only place is a home, right? Because your origins, as you mentioned, is from Pakistan, but you've never actually lived there.
Yeah, like the only times I've been to Pakistan for extended period of time would be on holiday. So that's something that I think is quite unique to people like me.
That's the first time I've ever.
I'm a first generation immigrant. So what that means is my parents
are actually
they moved
from Pakistan,
really
but
rare,
you are British.
Yeah, they moved to the UK, and
it's not rare in the UK though.
It's not rare in the UK, but I think you do have that in like other places as well. Like in terms of like in America, people move from India, Pakistan, like they are also first generation immigrants. But what you get with that is identity clash. And for us, when we go back home, we're not recognized as being fully from back home. And also in the UK, you see issues now with culture and stuff like that.
It also depends how much you mix with the local people, right?
Yeah.
Like if your son, for example, is from like the classic British person, then they accept them more, I would assume. You know what I mean? Like like a lot of communities, they usually stick to each other in such countries. They don't really get out of their communities that much, so they feel like they're never actually accepted. But you see what I'm trying to say? Like. It really depends on your openness to this new cultural experiences. Also,
that's why I'd say to students, even people that are here, if you're a student, if you're not a student, don't close yourself off and don't try and keep your own culture with you. Like you're gonna be a completely different person if you're gonna spend time in a country. So just open yourself up to the culture, and that's who you're gonna be. So I don't think it's something to be ashamed about. I don't think it's rude to sort of adopt other cultures or to sort of integrate yourself into society, because that's what you need to do to be comfortable, I think.
And it's like you said, like if you take the small steps, like such as learning few words in Georgian, people are more friendly towards you. And like I'm just bringing up the Georgian example, but I would assume like wherever you go, if you respect their cultures and if you try to integrate and assimilate, like they respect you more and they're more inclusive.
That's naturally. The same thing anywhere. Like if I was in the UK and somebody was new to the country and I knew that English wasn't their first language, but they were speaking it to me, I would make sure that if they needed help, I would help them with it. Like it's happened to me before. I've been in cities where I'm not even a local. Like I was in Birmingham, for example, and somebody he wasn't from the UK, but he asked me like about a bus directions, and he was having an issue with how I was working, and I thought, I can't go on my day without helping this person, because I knew that he would have needed help. How can I how will I be able to sleep at night if I knew like I could have helped him and I didn't? So stuff like that, I feel like it helps you sort of integrate when you're trying to make an effort and you're polite to people. I think at the end of the day, respect and being polite and having good manners is the main thing when you're trying to have conversations.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'd say most people in the UK are pretty helpful. Like, I don't want to talk only shit about that country. Yeah, they've been most people have been really, really helpful. What I did not like there is that a lot of people were also very fake. Yeah, this fake politeness thing is really, really real. I mean, you don't get that in Georgia. Like, people will tell you if they don't like you. Like, they will make it very clear.
That's one thing I like about Georgia. And I think I will adopt it in my own like personality. The fact that people are very blunt, and I kind of respect it, because in the UK, people will say, "Oh yeah, if you need help, then just let me know."
Yeah, and they don't
just
mean
give me
it.
a call, and they're just saying, and then you're there, you call them, you ask them for help, and you're like, "Oh, I'm busy." They make an excuse. I'm like, there's no point of saying it. Like, I would much rather you say to me, "Listen."
Yeah, it's like they have this I don't know, set of rules while they talk, and they kind of have to check these words and check the sentences, like, how you feeling? Let me know if you want to talk. I don't even know what that means. Like,
like a script or something.
Yeah, like everything feels like my experience is kind of limited because I only worked with this academics and stuff of the university and at work. My classmates were amazing, but they weren't British. Like we were international, so it wouldn't be a fair assessment if I talked about them. So what I'm talking about, like the real British people that I had to deal with. It was like I felt like I was in the corporation where you cannot trust anybody.
Yeah,
like whatever they say have this hidden context behind it, hidden agenda, whatever.
Yeah,
I didn't like that.
I feel like a lot of the relationships that you would have, even in the environment, like you said, like the work environment, they're very superficial and they're just there for the sake of having the relationship. Like it's a lot of it is small talk, and the people that you rate. That's why. I don't know if it's the same in Georgia, but a lot of the people that you will spend a lot of your life with, like your friends, you make them in school, because that's when you're still developing. You're going through changes yourself, so you make a lot of very close friends. So I'm still in contact.
I mean, we come
go
from
way
school.
back to
so
7th grade.
There you go. That's an example. So then it's like I'm still in contact with quite a few people from school, because I had deep-rooted connections with them. So that's something that you can't really make after a certain age. Like probably when your brain is fully developed, it just becomes too difficult to kind of like
then
make them sort
when
of
you know
connections.
that people suck.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
That's the reality. So that's why I feel like it's completely different, and it is a thing in the UK. I feel like it happens more in the south of the UK than in the north. So you were staying in Manchester, that's the north, and people are renowned for being quite friendly and like outgoing.
They were most of the times,
Yeah.
but like my professional experiences were lacking that kind of things. I mean, you can be rude and you can. I just didn't like that fake politeness. It doesn't mean anything. Like it didn't. I would assume like they feel like they're making others feel better, like the way the soft skills, whatever. But at some point you realize that it doesn't mean anything. Like they don't really feel like that. So it's I don't know. It's not for me, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's...
Like I'd rather hear their honest opinions that okay, you suck. Okay, I don't have time for you. Something like that.
Yeah,
maybe not that weirdly, but okay, just make it clear.
Yeah, that's why people are quite blunt here, and it was something that I was really surprised about.
I think we're over like the extremely kind of extreme version of that.
Like even the way people don't mean to be rude, but the way that you ask questions, because even in Georgian, like you don't have like in English you would say like, can you do this? But in Georgian I know you say like, you just say you can do this, but you just say it like it's a question. So it's the intonation of the voice.
Yeah.
So then
that's very true.
So then when people don't use the intonation of the voice, it's kind of like they're just saying a statement to you. And when I was first here,
you need to give it the proper tone and proper accent to it.
And I
know what you mean.
I think I made that mistake a couple of times. I feel like, they're looking at me like, why are you speaking to me so rudely? I'm like, listen, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
I think that's actually...
No, that's good.
It's quite common in different languages. I would say it's not in English. That's why you find it weird. Like I know that even I had a Japanese friend.
For
the
Japan,
way you pronounce sentences.
And people who
all
are
about how you
selling the panties in the vending machines. When
it's about how you say. So
it's not about the word, but it's about the pronunciation.
The tone is everything there, basically. And in some other cultures as well.
Good.
Italian for one, for sure. Like words doesn't mean anything. It's all about how you say them.
It's about how you say.
Yeah.
How do you actually balance the studies and also taking videos? Because I think it should be really loaded since you're a medical student, which takes a lot of studying.
Yeah, it does. So I think a couple of semesters ago, it was a lot harder for me because I was going to university in the campus. So it's split. Like the first 3 years are preclinical and the last 3 years are clinical. So right now I'm going to the hospitals and stuff, which is a bit more relaxed. Like you have a looser timetable and you don't need to go every day.
Are you involved in any practical stuff? Like
it depends. It's
assisting surgeons.
It's under the discretion of the.
Do professors
doctors
also recognize you from the videos that you shoot?
Yeah, a couple of they don't recognize me, but they know that I made videos, and
they know, they don't recognize. Okay, so they still don't watch it.
No, they do watch them. So then they when I go to the class or they see me around uni, they go, "Oh, hello, how is the content going?" This and that. Like the managers at university as well, some of them recognize me and say, "Oh, how is the TikTok going?" Because they do know. And in terms of the actual like schedule, it's getting easier to balance now because now I know like when I need to do a certain type of video or how long it would take me to do something. But
like this, yeah, because you move your head a
sorry.
lot around.
So even now, when I came here like today, earlier I was in university. I went directly to meet my friends afterwards. I had to do a couple of other things, and even now my scrubs are in the car. So it's like jam packed. Like I try not to keep my weekends as busy because I do make time for my friends as well. But it does get hectic, like especially during the summer when a lot of students are coming and a lot of them want help with getting apartments and stuff. I try to help them out with that. They want to know where to get certain items from or appliances, so I always try and give advice about that. And people are in like really unique situations. If they need my help, I've personally helped them out. So like moving apartment and stuff like that. But yeah, it does get really busy sometimes. I try not to take too long of a break. I think the maximum I would say is I'll take a week off if I need to sort of reset and focus on university. But other than that, I know that people want to see content and it's good to always be posting. So it
By
does.
the way, have you found a way to monetize it somehow?
That's the thing. Like I did create my account in the UK, so I'm eligible for the Creator Fund thing. But I need 10,000 followers. And
no, I don't mean like the classic monetization stuff. Like
so the actual so this is what I was gonna say. So I don't get anything
to get the A's from the professors, for example.
no, not like that. But like I don't get anything from the actual videos. But what it does do is it opens up opportunities that are very specific to Georgia because my niche is very small. So I have a chance to promote certain businesses or agencies or
that's what
services.
I mean. Exactly,
so that's where I do have an opportunity. It's not that often, and it's not as regular as people think. Like people think that you make like thousands of TikTok every month, and it's really not the case. Like it's very rare that you get that opportunity, especially in a niche as small as this. So it does open you up to that. That's not why I started it. Like.
No, I know. Like you started because of your, you felt like you felt kind of responsibility to help others. But obviously, now that you have this community,
if those opportunities do come, then it would be a waste to not take that. And like as a reward for yourself, if you're getting something out of it after putting all the effort in, then it does feel good to have something to show for it. So that is what I would say about the balancing.
Yeah, I'm curious where it's gonna land in the end. You know?
Okay, Abdulaziz, look, you are really educated young man.
Thank you.
But the way you speak, that you came here, everything sounds like a fairy tale. Please tell us about the struggles that you had. Wasn't there like any kind of struggle that you encountered?
And then I have other questions
because
about
I'm pretty sure that there might have been some of them. Of course, I mean, we are really open people, the Georgians, etc. But still, there could have been some things.
Like some of our previous guests mentioned that they experienced racism. I don't know, which I find it hard to.
I really find it hard to believe.
Me too, but I mean, but she's not an expat. She's been living here for I don't know, ages.
I mean, I do have. I have a couple of stories. I think one's funnier than the other, and the other one is a bit more serious. But I'm gonna start off with a funny one.
Okay.
So it's like in the first month that I'm here, I haven't learned that much Georgian yet. I know the basic phrases: Gamar Joba, Rogohard, Nakhwamdis, Gargat. That was the ones I used. And
not bad at all.
And those are the ones that I knew at that time. And I was in my apartment with my flatmate, and we were settling in. Things were going well. And one night, all of a sudden there was a 3 a.m. in the morning, bang, bang, bang on the door. And
that's really frightening.
Me and my flatmate were like, "Whoa, what's going on
here?
here?"
Country, at 3 a.m. And that is really scary.
And we were like, "What's going on here?" So he was closer to the door, so he got dressed. He called me, like, even though we were in. He just called me even though we were in the same apartment. He was like, "I'll go and check what it is." I was like, "Listen, let me know if you need me to come." And it turns out that there was the neighbor from downstairs and our landlord, and our boiler, apparently it was leaking and it was going into the neighbor downstairs' apartment, and it was causing like damp. And we didn't know, obviously. And these guys, obviously they're speaking Georgian. They were saying like Skali, Modis, Binashi, like something like that. I didn't know
Georgian
that at the time.
Georgian is pretty good, by the way.
I've been here for a while, but
scary. It's 3 a.m.
Yeah, so we didn't
really
know obviously
scary.
what they were saying. So then we had to like get Google Translate out. And yeah, one funny thing is he didn't tell me to get to the boiler, you have to go to my room, through my room. My flatmate didn't tell me this, so I was there. I like sleeping like comfortably, so I was in like I was in my shorts and my my vest, and all of a sudden there's just 2 Georgian women that come through my room.
Oh, women! You didn't mention they were women.
Oh yeah, so they just came through my room, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And they were like, they went to the boiler and they just like turned it off, and. We were just there, and then after that the landlady's daughter came down as well because she spoke a bit of English, and we were like so shook up about it, and she was just looking at us and she just laughed and she goes, "It's a funny situation." We were just looking at her thinking, "No, it's not." I'm like, "We've got class in about 5 hours. We need to be awake at 7:30, and you're sat here at 3 in the morning. It's a funny situation," and that was probably the most like. That was most frightening thing.
Like to comfort you, I will say that's pretty common. Like that happens a lot here.
Just because it was 3 a.m. and I woke up from my sleep with like a massive knock on the door.
I mean,
that's why. But
not the soft one, but the massive knock like at 3 a.m. in different country. That's really, really.
I would freak out for sure.
Yeah.
Freaking. Okay, yeah. What about another?
So like another one, something that
I think
is difficult.
One.
Yeah, no dark. But
yeah. If you don't want to.
No. Something that is difficult, and I did deal with it personally. I think is very important for students to keep in mind, or people that are moving away from family, is anxiety about stuff. Like one of the differences is when you are here, you are a very far away, a far distance from your family, and they are a far distance from you. And I've seen situations happen, like family members of my friends, like very close family members, something happens to them, they get very ill, and maybe they won't get back in time to see them before they pass away and stuff like that. And that sort of stuff opens your eyes up. And when you see it happen to people around you, and it triggers that anxiety in you because it could happen to you. And also for me, like I have family members that are ill as well. Like that's why I want to do medicine. I want to make life easier for people that are like that. So that's another thing. When you're coming abroad, it does become very difficult to kind of deal with that day to day, and it can put you in dark places as well when you're constantly thinking something's going to happen, and not just to you but to your family, and you won't be able to get there in time, and you're trying to balance this with your uni life, you're trying to balance it with other stuff, your relationships with your friends, and then you kind of feel like it's affecting stuff around you. That's when it gets to a point where you need to speak to people and you shouldn't close yourself off. So that's another thing that health, that's another thing that is very important to like kind of keep in mind when you're going to come abroad.
I completely agree, man. I mean, people with strong family attachments like ourselves, for us it's different for us to move abroad and just live your life happily ever after. I mean, there are some people that find their new place somewhere else, but usually they are the ones that, you know, they have been detached from their families at the very young age, or they don't have any emotional attachments to their own culture. Like it's not like they're trying to detach from their identity, and that's fine. Like for some people it works out. In our case, like I feel you when you say that you still want to go back. You know, I felt the same way. I came back, and I know that I want to live here. Obviously, I'd love to travel and even, I don't know, like take off a few years, maybe one day when I make a lot of money.
Examples of immigrants, and we know how they feel, how they actually want to come back to country, and it's very really natural.
Yeah, people are successful everywhere. Like if you go and look at the UK's national dish, I don't know. It's quiz time. What would it be? The national
English
dish.
breakfast and
No, like the
dish. Oh, you mean?
Yeah, it's probably gonna surprise you.
Oh,
It's chicken.
Okay, I think
You
I
wouldn't
know that
expect
one.
it. It's not really British. It's chicken tikka masala, but that was invented by a Scotsman who was originally of South Asian descent. So you see successful immigrants everywhere. So that's why people want to do it. And if you're motivated enough to do something, then you will make it work.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
well,
very true.
I don't know. Maybe you have different opinions about UK food.
I mean, in my opinion, British food sucks. Like that was one of the reasons why I came back. But I can see how someone who grew up on British food would miss some, certain types of food.
You
there.
do love fish.
I mean, fish is not really British.
Fish and chips.
Fish is everywhere, but they have. What I said is they have amazing fish.
You
And,
mean their cuisine specifically?
Yeah, like do they have cuisine like English breakfast besides English breakfast?
English
and what else
breakfast,
is there? Fish and chips is
Fish and chips.
That's it.
You have. I'm trying to think like British dishes.
They don't. They just try to remake some of the European stuff.
You
I feel like I'm gonna
that's
get
not
flamed in the
true,
comments
right?
by people from the UK. But
They fuck it up all the time. That's the issue. They don't even make other people's stuff. Only a solid food that I would eat would be either in Indian restaurant or in any type of Japanese. Or like that's because the actual Japanese and Indian people live there. But even though that's not my kind of food, like I can enjoy once a month, but that's not
every
that's not
day.
my regular food. Exactly.
We eat quite bland food, like it's just an amalgamation of like everything from other cultures.
I felt like I was hungry for the 2 years. Like, and the big part was, the hangover. Obviously, you don't drink, but let me kick you a scenario. Like, hangover is a tradition. Hangover, you drink a lot, so
And
you
then
get
the next day
hangover
you
the
feel
next
it.
day. And in Georgia, hangover is then a valid reason to even not to go to work sometimes. It's just a part of culture, And on hangover, you need some strong soups or the type of liquid foods that really help you get out of the recover pretty soon.
quickly, yeah.
I don't know what's the equivalent of British food of that, and I couldn't even find any of the Georgian or Slavic food there. Like I couldn't find a solid pelmeni in the northern England.
Please, I mean the reason why you
they
felt
have
that way is because your wife was not living with you at that time. Okay, you were living alone. You don't
That's
know
also
how
true.
to live alone.
That's
you
also
suck
true.
at living alone. Okay, you only know how to work. You have no idea how to actually.
I mean, that's
live
also
alone.
true because I had to actually, for the first time, I had to learn how to cook when I got left alone there. And that's where I realized that the only food that would
that
actually
you were
fulfill me
hungry.
would-
Yeah, that's when you became hungry.
Whenever. Oh my God! Like I'm going back to my traumas again. I don't want to talk about it a lot, but the idea is this: I couldn't get any of the Georgian foods that I loved. For obvious reasons, there are no Georgian restaurants in North Manchester.
Not in Manchester, yeah.
Yeah, there is one Armenian one, but it sucks.
I think there's one actual Georgian one in London, but I don't know.
There are
how
a few.
good it-
There are a few.
There's a few now.
In,
like I was
in
checking.
London. Obviously,
but-
it doesn't taste as good as here,
Yeah.
but yeah, they are there. But even so, like the regular stuff, the regular food, like I told you, the vegetables, the meat. Maybe I don't know how to select the proper meat, but in Georgia, like you can get in every fucking
Yeah.
store, and the fruit, it's it doesn't taste like anything there. Because everything is imported there, they don't grow their own.
Yeah, I think that there's certain things, like in terms of fruit and vegetables, like a much higher quality here. Like I really
Exactly what I'm
like
saying.
the onions here are really good. Like I use a lot of onions in cooking, like as a base.
Oh,
and
and
stuff.
seasonings. Sorry, forgot about seasonings. Like a lot of the seasonings that I'm used to, that I love, they were missing. I couldn't buy anywhere.
They
there.
just don't have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like tremali,
That's
ajika,
like
the ones that you
that's
mentioned.
like the same for us though. Like here, they don't have a lot of the ones that we have in the UK that are
Yeah,
maybe like
I would
like
assume
specific mixes. So then, even when students come abroad now, I just tell them just bring it with you. Like if you have anything that you use at home regularly, just bring your own mix. Like
Yeah, it's
not
easier
really
to
that
bring it.
it's not really that hard, and it'll suffice you for like how long you're staying there anyway. But I think
But the beer there was way superior to what we get here.
I was gonna say like
but you keep forgetting that you don't drink.
I wouldn't know, but I've had friends in the past that obviously like non-Muslim, but there is a heavy drinking culture in the UK, and I know there's a heavy drinking culture here.
Yeah.
I think that one time there were benches outside my apartment, the same one that I was talking about in the knocking on the door video. Yeah. And these Georgian guys, like old Georgian guys, maybe 50 or 60 years old, they knocked on the door, and they just said to us like, "Can we sit here and drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, it's fine." And they offered me when I was like, "Oh no, it's okay. I don't drink." But they were like really friendly, and I think that's a very big difference. Here, when people drink, they get more friendly, and they just get a bit like they start having more conversations. But in the UK, I feel like people get really aggressive, and there's a lot more antisocial behavior. Yeah. That's something that you don't see here, and it's like people are really surprised. They say to me, "Is Georgia safe?"
Yeah, you don't see here in the during the night on the streets drunk Brits just screaming and throwing bottles.
You see
at
that
each
in
other.
the UK.
Yeah, I don't know what's the deal with that, but I think like they're drinking more heavily, to be honest, more harder drinks like the whiskeys and I don't know, all sorts of heavy liquors. Here it's mostly about wine and a few tequila shots. I don't know.
There's not that much like antisocial behavior or stuff that goes on that you should be worried about in the street. Like I don't know, whatever you hear about UK news and stuff like that. Yeah. But here is how people say to me, they say, "Is Georgia safe?" And I just ask them, like, "What do you mean by safe?" And they say, like, compare it to the UK, like the standard of living, the stuff that you hear about. I go, I've been here for so long and I haven't heard about any sort of incidents. You don't see antisocial behavior. You don't see fights. Like, you rarely see fights between Georgians. And if it is, it's something like completely unrelated.
And girls are very surprised to hear that. Like,
it's cheap.
It's actually safer here for the girls.
So that's something that I always try to convey to the students, and it's not just me saying it. I've done like a few interviews with students, and I get girls to basically speak about their experiences, because it's all well and good me saying my experience, but I'm a boy. I'm not gonna have the same idea and mentality as them.
True.
So whenever they hear it from somebody that is a female, then it makes it a lot more appealing to come to Georgia, and they know like it's safe enough for them to be here.
That's very nice to hear, at least, that we're doing some metrics well. Anyways, I had few questions. Like it's been a long podcast, so I'll try to make it quick. One that I was curious about was you mentioned that the level of education is more or less the same, but I'm curious about in terms of technology. Like medicine nowadays requires a lot of technology. Do we have those? I don't even know. Like, is it the same standards as in the some of the European countries in the UK?
I think even in the UK, it's not to the highest standard that it could be. I think if you're talking about the highest standard, it's a country that Georgia has very good connections with, which is Germany. Yeah. Germany, they're using a lot of new tools. They're developing diagnostic techniques.
Do you have access on those?
We, in our university and in Georgia specifically, we do have sort of program like Erasmus Plus, where we can go for exchange programs, and there's like summer internships or internships during the holidays. And you can get like scholarships or different sort of experience in these countries. So in terms of that aspect, I feel like Georgia is definitely doing something that other countries don't have, and it comes down to the individual relationships with certain countries. So that's one example that I could give. In terms of in the universities, you have stuff like virtual reality machines, because in Georgia, the use of cadavers is illegal, or it's against the country's religious beliefs. Sorry, cadavers, so the scientific donation of human bodies, and then when students are dissecting and learning on them, it's only allowed in one place. And I did do a course. It was in the Total Charm School, and that's the only place in the all of the Caucasus region where it's allowed for students to learn on cadavers. So that's one thing that Georgia is missing out, but I think that you can get around that. In the UK, you have complete access to cadavers like from the first year, and it's good to learn like anatomy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In terms of the actual teaching,
I didn't know that was illegal, to be honest.
I don't know if it's illegal or I think it's against the country's religious beliefs, but I think that might make it illegal.
Yeah. No, even my mom had to do that, but she was afraid to do that. But she got the A+ because she was singing very well. So hi, mom. Yeah.
That's how it works. Like, it's not only about your skills.
And I think in terms of the teaching, the doctors here are very well educated and very well spoken. They know their stuff, and they know.
Do they speak proper English though?
I'm going to be truthful
that's
on
a
this.
good question.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
that's what
truthful
I
on
because I
wanted
know
to-
that
that's
they're
what I
very,
wanted
like
to ask.
everybody says that we have amazing
Yeah.
doctors.
How
but
is
I don't
it
know
to
if they're
study
speaking
here?
I'm going to be
Yeah.
truthful on this. I think some of the doctors, their English is not to the level as it is, never going to be to the level as it is in the UK.
Moreover, the medical level. That's the
but thing,
that's the real
medical
question.
level
Yeah.
is very good. Like they know all
Okay.
of the terminology and they know enough to teach you. The only issue that I would say
So you
there
understand basically what they're trying
and
to
you
teach
get
you.
used to it. Like if some doctor is speaking a bit differently, then you get used to how they speak
Yeah.
very quickly. The only issue that I would say is if you don't understand the concept, they are limited in the ways that they can explain it to you
I know
because
what
they
you
have
mean.
limited
Yeah,
vocabulary.
yeah.
But I feel
So
like
they are limited into give you analogies at least.
Yeah.
I mean, give me comparison.
Yeah,
I don't
and examples
understand
and
it.
stuff.
That's hard.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but-
You need to understand the topic so you can understand their limited English. Like,
But one thing that I would say overcomes that is the fact that they provide you with all of the
Material.
textbooks and stuff and the material, and they're written in perfect English. So you really have no excuse, in my opinion. Like most of the learning, 70% of it comes outside of the classroom. 30% only comes from when you're listening to the
Amazing.
doctor. So
that's a great insight, man.
I would say overall, Georgia is doing a lot of things, and I think it's still improving. Like the money that we pay, we see it day in, day out in our university. They're making improvements. They're giving us better facilities. They're opening up all of these opportunities for us. And I think that is something that Georgia does very well overall. So yeah, that's what I
Amazing
would say.
to hear that. Really,
That's what I would say about the education.
Ah, that's good.
we actually learned something here. We didn't know that we were doing, this all sorts of improvements in medical area. We have like one of our closest friends has a podcast. He's a doctor, and he's actually inviting Georgian doctors, and it's very
Okay.
interesting. It's in Georgian that you wouldn't
Yeah.
understand, but yeah, it's a really cool show.
Yeah, behind the white coat. That's
Yeah.
how the page is called.
I think I might have heard of that. I think I might have heard of that on social media somewhere.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
it-
would assume like he might have already invited some of your lecturers.
maybe
or
that's what I'm
something.
thinking.
Yes, maybe.
That's what I'm
No,
thinking.
but the podcast
Yeah.
is on Georgian. But
Yeah.
that's really, really good because that's one of the first podcasts in Georgia that is on
About
a similar.
medicine.
And also another thing is about the doctors. A lot of my doctors, they're quite young. They're like 25, 26. They've just graduated or they're like early. The oldest doctor that I had last semester was probably 32 years old. And they get invited to go to a lot of different countries and do a lot of conferences, to do a lot of research. So it's not like these doctors that are teaching us are uneducated. They're very educated, not just in English, but in Georgian as well.
Yeah.
Because to teach the medicine degree, you have to have completed a degree in English. So it's not like they've just learned it in
Yeah, I know
Georgian
what
and
you
taught
mean,
it.
yeah.
So it means that the doctors here do know what they're doing and they're very well spoken when it comes to the medical side of things. Maybe outside of that, the terminology
Yeah, the
isn't as
conversation
good, but
language, yeah.
that's expected. Like they're not in a country where they're going to be using English as their first language. So once you get over that hurdle and you compromise, which I think all students need to do, then you can make it a very beneficial experience for yourself and you can make it so you get the most out of the situation. If you're working with the doctors, then they'll work with you and they will help you. I found that if the doctors, if they can tell that you're not putting the effort in, they really won't care about you. And who's to blame them? Because it's not just a one-sided relationship. It has to come from both sides. So
yeah, I would agree to
Yeah.
that. Amazing, man. Thank you so much for so many good insights. One last question I have is, because you're British, what's your favorite team? Do you watch
team,
football? You're not-
I'm gonna get flamed. My favorite team is Chelsea. So
how did that happen, man?
I used to grow up watching a lot of football, and my brother used to watch a lot of the Chelsea games, and he kind of molded me.
Oh, that's
I
like
used
a
to.
universal thing. Like
Yeah.
whatever Big Brother is watching, like always the
Yeah.
another.
So then
second-
I grew up watching them, and I just sort of like used to have all my favorite players.
my younger brother is also a fan of my team, which is AC Milan. It has nothing to do with the
Oh, right.
UK, but
No, I respect AC Milan. I think they're a good team as well.
yeah, sure.
But yeah, that's basically why. So it is a bit weird.
Excellent, man. Excellent.
Yeah.
Have you lived in
Good.
London as well?
I've never lived in London. I've been in Bradford my whole life, so I've been in Yorkshire, but I have visited London. I
of
still
course.
think up north is better. I'm always gonna say that. I'm always gonna
So there's still always the tension between Northerners and
a little bit, but it's kind of like friendly. I always say to people, here, you guys come to our area to eat food. Like we only come to your area to see the London Eye. That's what I say to them.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Abdulaziz, thank you so much. It has been amazing. I think
Yeah,
this
that was
very
really
insightful episode, exactly. And actually we heard something we didn't know, and thank you for that. I think you are doing better PR to our country than most of us do. So
True.
It's really helpful, and hopefully in the future we'll be able to do some more collaborations because we're here to stay, and you're still here for another 2 years.
I'm definitely still here for another 2 years. So yeah,
thanks for
Thanks so
saving
much,
your
man.
time for us.
thank you so much. It was nice to meet you guys. It was
And
nice
when you
speaking
go
to you.
when you go back to UK, I'll say hi to my classmates, to my fucking. I used to live in Ancoats. Do you know that place, Northern Quarter in the Manchester, or you haven't been to Manchester?
No, I don't know the areas within Manchester like that.
All right. When I go back, let's go there together. It's a cool place.
Sounds good. I'll show you. I'll try and find some places like local UK food, the stuff that I like. Maybe you'll enjoy
Oh
it.
man, don't disappoint me one more time, please. Like my heart
cut
cannot
it.
take.
He's out of control. Cut it.
My heart cannot take any more, damaging. So thank you. Thanks for coming over. Guys, subscribe us. He's amazing. We'll drop his link in the comments or in the bio. So please subscribe him also. And see you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.